Ivan gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. Another run, another day. The endless Siberian tundra stretched before him, bleak, unforgiving. He pushed the old truck, its engine groaning like a tired beast. Ivan knew every bump, every bend of this road. He'd traveled it for years, hauling goods to remote villages. The sky, a bruised purple, threatened snow. Ivan frowned. An early winter, not good. He pulled his worn sheepskin coat tighter. The wind howled outside, a lonely wolf's cry. He glanced at the passenger seat. Vodka bottle, empty. Comfort for the lonely nights. He squinted as a figure emerged from the swirling snow. A woman, standing by the roadside, waving. Ivan frowned. Nobody should be out in this weather. He slowed, the truck protesting with a shudder. Maybe she needed help. Out here, you didn't leave people to the elements. The woman approached cautiously, her form swallowed by the swirling snow. She reached the passenger door, a young woman, her face pale, framed by raven hair. She wore a long white dress, a wedding dress. It was torn, muddied, but unmistakably a bride's gown. "Help me," she whispered, her voice thin as the wind. "Please, I need a ride." Her eyes, dark and wide, held a desperate plea. Ivan hesitated. Something wasn't right. The way she appeared out of nowhere. The dress. "Get in," Ivan muttered, pushing open the passenger door. The woman slid into the seat. She huddled, shivering, her breath misting in the cold air. Ivan felt a shiver too, but not from the cold. An unease crept up his spine. He couldn't place it, but something felt wrong, very wrong. The woman mumbled a thank you, her voice lost in the roar of the engine. She wouldn't meet his eyes. She kept her head down, fiddling with a tear in her dress. It was strange, too strange. Ivan tried to ignore the growing feeling of dread in the pit of his stomach. They drove in silence. The only sound was the wind and the rumble of the engine. Ivan stole glances at his passenger. Her skin was pale, almost translucent, unnaturally so, and her hands, clutching the torn lace of her dress, were as white as snow. He noticed something else. There were no footprints in the fresh snow beside the truck. How could that be? "Where are you headed?" Ivan finally asked, his voice gruff. The woman didn't answer. She just stared straight ahead, her eyes fixed on some distant point. He repeated the question. This time she turned, her head moving with a jerky, unnatural movement. "To the church," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the wind. "I must reach the church." Ivan frowned. There was no church for miles. This whole area was deserted, and why was she out here in a blizzard wearing a wedding dress? "There's no church out here," Ivan said, trying to keep his voice steady. A strange chill filled the cabin. He could feel it now. An icy presence. It seemed to emanate from the woman beside him. She didn't answer. She just sat there, her eyes fixed on him now, burning with an unnatural intensity, fear, cold and sharp, cut through Ivan's gut. Section 4, Terror in the Tundra. The woman's lips curled into a chilling smile, revealing teeth that were too sharp, too long. Her eyes, once filled with desperation, now glowed with an eerie light. Ivan's blood turned to ice. This was no ordinary woman. This was something else, something monstrous. "Let me out!" Ivan yelled, his voice cracking with terror. He slammed on the brakes, the truck skidding dangerously on the icy road. The woman laughed, a high-pitched grating sound that echoed through the cab. Panic surged through Ivan. He fumbled for the door handle, but it wouldn't budge. He was trapped. The woman lunged at him, her icy fingers reaching for his throat. Ivan screamed, a primal sound of pure terror. He jerked the wheel, desperate to escape. The truck veered sharply, careening off the road. It plowed through the snowdrift, finally coming to a stop, tilted precariously at the edge of a ravine. Silence descended, broken only by the howling wind. Section 5, Whispers in the Wind. Days later, a search party found Ivan's truck. It was empty. The driver's side door hung open, a single set of footprints leading away from the vehicle and disappearing into the vast, unforgiving expanse of the tundra. Locals shook their heads, whispering tales of the frozen widow. Legends said she was a young bride. Left at the altar, driven mad by grief, she wandered the tundra in her wedding dress, searching for her lost love. They say she lures unsuspecting travelers into her trap, offering them a ride before revealing her true, terrifying form. And some, on lonely nights when the wind howls across the tundra, swear they can still hear Ivan's screams echoing through the frozen wasteland. A chilling reminder of the vengeful spirit that haunts the Siberian tundra, the frozen widow. forever searching for her lost love.